Welcome to the Currency of Knowledge, a County National Bank wealth management podcast, the podcast where we unravel the layers of prosperity, explore the diverse meanings of wealth, and delve into the stories of those who have built their own versions of abundance. I'm your co-host, Christopher Phillips.
And I'm Holly Baker. Join us on this insightful journey as we redefine wealth beyond the balance sheets and uncover the true riches that life has to offer. Let's explore the essence of wealth in all its forms.
Well, we are back for another episode of the Currency of Knowledge. This will be a really exciting one because we have 8 of our interns that we're going to interview and talk to. Bright group of young individuals.
We have really hit the intern jackpot. We had a last year, and I don't remember the number of interns we had last year, but this year we have 7, and we have some returning interns.
Yeah.
Meredith Bontrell was one of those interns that we're going to be talking to, and she was such a hot commodity.
Yes.
She was stolen from wealth and went into the marketing area, so we're going to talk with her about those experiences. But what's exciting about the interns is that they have just brought a kind of renewed energy, and they're excited.
Yes.
And the projects, I hope that the projects that they're working on, they know how vital they are to what our goals are for 2024. And they've really made a big impact for us. So
Absolutely.
Really looking forward to talking to them, getting perspective.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear their answer to our question, what is wealth, and then their perspective on banking.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure any of them talked about going into banking. When we look at what they're going to school for, maybe one could potentially be banking. So I'm interested to hear what they think of the banking industry.
And their experience with banking is different than other people, just even slightly above their age, because they've lived in a world with mobile technology.
Yeah, absolutely.
They haven't had, their parents don't go to the branch. So
Right.
When I was little, we went to the bank, and I remember there was always a sucker that I would get from the teller.
Yes.
And I'm not sure that
Sure.
young people now have that experience. So it is something that, it feels a little bit maybe mystic to them initially. And so I look forward to the conversation with them.
And honestly, all the different areas at the bank. Because until you're at a bank, most people, as I did before I started working at a bank, thought of it as truly just money.
Right.
Just go in, do my transaction.
Right.
So
Yeah.
excited to talk to them. Well, we are here with our very first guest, Meredith Bontrell, who was with us last year in the wealth management group and did make the conversion over to marketing. Meredith is, what year are you?
I'm a rising junior.
She's a rising junior at Miami University of Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, Meredith. So excited to get to speak with you today.
Thanks. I'm glad to be on the podcast.
Yeah, so Meredith has been working behind the scenes this year and doing some editing for the podcast. So she's listened to all the episodes, so she knows kind of the format of what this is going to be like.
Yep.
And Meredith helped come up with some of the names of our podcast, which is great. And I think, did you come up with the name of our podcast?
I don't remember if one of the names that I came up with was the one that was picked as the Currency of Knowledge. I don't 100% remember, but I do remember being here over my J term or winter break, and Brad came up to me and I was like, hey, do you want to brainstorm a list of ideas? I'm coming up with some myself. So I provided a list, and I don't remember everything that was on that list.
So Meredith, what are you studying?
I'm studying marketing and entrepreneurship. So I have 2 majors.
And so have you, I know you're working a lot on the editing for us. Have you done any other marketing projects? Or have you just been behind the computer with the edits?
I've done other social media posts. A lot of it has been podcast focused.
Okay.
But I've put some things together. I've traveled with Brad from branch to branch, and we've taken photos, and he's taught me how to edit photos using Adobe Suite, because before this, I was more comfortable using Canva, but I'm transferring over to the Creative Cloud and getting to know everything behind that, which there's really more to do for editing photos and videos on that, which is super useful, especially if I want to end up going into something for digital marketing.
Yeah. So do you know what it looks like after graduation? Do you think banking is the right spot for you, or are you keeping your options open?
Definitely keeping my options open. Don't know what I have in store after graduation. Don't even know where I want to be located. Open-minded to it. Don't really have anything that has to happen.
Yeah. Well, we've got the sky's the limit
Yeah,
for you. We know that
absolutely.
you are brilliant and talented, and we just look forward in seeing all your successes. So we have a few more people to talk to, so we're going to jump right to the question.
All right.
So how does Meredith von Trova, at the age of 20,
Yeah.
how do you define wealth?
Now, I've had a lot of time to think about this because I've edited or done the transcripts and closed captions for all of the podcast episodes up to this point. So I've heard everyone's answer. So I've definitely had a lot of time to reflect on what it means to me. And what I've come up with is choice, which I know, Christopher, you say it's flexibility, and Holly always says it's security. And I think choice leans more towards flexibility in terms of those two exact verbiages for what is wealth. But being able to not pigeonhole yourself or be siloed into one certain thing, wealth is giving you the freedom and the flexibility to make choices, and make a choice that makes you happy and that you're comfortable with. So I think that's what wealth really is.
I like that.
I think that's terrific.
like that one.
I love that perspective. And, you're going to have a lot of choices in the next few years to make. And, I think every choice that you make, I believe that it will be the right choice.
Yeah.
And so I wish you nothing but success. Thanks for sharing your talents with us for the last 2 summers, I believe,
Yes.
and over Christmas. And, certainly hope that, this J term you'll consider us again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So excited to hear everything you've had to say. Just a remarkable, remarkable young lady.
Thank you.
Thank you, Meredith.
I would like to welcome Brooke Leisering to our podcast today. Brooke is a rising junior at the University of Michigan. You're studying business administration. I have had the pleasure of working with Brooke since she's been in the Tecumseh office. I'm working on several projects we'll talk about later, so I won't mention them. But it has been a great pleasure getting to know you, Brooke.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed my time here so far with you guys.
That's fantastic. When I didn't know you until the interview, and when I had the interview, I was blown away with your composure, and you bring a air of sophistication to every conversation, but in a relaxed way, which is a really hard thing to be able to marry together. And so I look forward to seeing all the things that you're going to do.
Thank you.
So we're asking all of the interns a question that I think you know what the question's going to be. What is wealth to Brooke as a rising junior at the University of Michigan?
I think as of right now, I am just like a college student, so I don't have a ton of wealth for myself, but my goal with wealth would be to just be able to have that choice and do kind of what I want to do. I don't want to work and try to make money just for the sake of working and making money. I want to try to find a job that I really want to do and then get my joy out of work, and then traveling and experiences. I want to be able to provide opportunities to kind of make myself happy and make my life the life I want to live, rather than rely just on cash and money all the time.
But I love that definition.
Yes.
Because I think, what we want, and these interns are the same age as my daughter. And so when we're talking to them, I feel like sometimes I'm like hearing my daughter's voice. And as a parent, what we want more for our children than anything else in the world, more than we want them to have wealth, is we want them to have happiness. And what you spoke to was happiness. So I think, that's maybe how, in one word,
Yeah.
Is that the way that you
Yes,
think
I
that we
would.
could summarize that?
I would.
Thing like
Yeah.
happiness and experiences.
Yes.
I think would
Yeah.
be the goal.
I think
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
I like the phrase, the life I want to live.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And we want you to live it too.
Absolutely.
It's been fantastic to get to work beside you. The work that you're doing has been really incredible. And I look forward to seeing kind of the finished product, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But couldn't be more proud of the work that you're doing, and so grateful that I had the opportunity to get to know you.
Thank you. I really enjoyed like getting to know not only the bank but learning how to talk to clients and stuff, and learning that wealth is so personal. And I think beforehand during my interview with you, he asked me what I thought wealth was, and I just said, like money. I had no idea. But learning from people, like the person I talked to yesterday, like he wants us to be able to keep, I don't know, like be able to stay consistent through the highs and lows of his career and stuff. So just really, it's shaped a lot of how I think about money, which I really appreciate.
Great.
great.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We are with George Hillard, who is a rising junior at Alma College, studying accounting, maybe switching, but we won't say it too loud in case your parents listen to the podcast. So George has been in the Tecumseh office with us during the summer during his internship. So it has been great getting to know you, George.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've known you for a long, long time.
Yeah.
I think we moved to Michigan in 2007. I think you guys were one of the first people that we met when we moved here. So I've known you for a long time, George.
Oh, yeah.
So it's been fun to get to see you in this kind of environment, and kind of put you in charge of communication between the interns and me, and it's been fantastic as well. So thank you for the work that you're doing.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun getting to know you a little more, even though I've known you for a while, and everyone else at the Tecumseh branch.
Yeah, fantastic. So we're asking all of our interns the same question. So what is wealth to George Hillard?
So wealth to me, I feel like, is not being afraid to spend, like having enough in your life, money wise or family wise, just to like not be afraid to go out and buy that thing that you want and still be comfortable when you're done. So kind of just more comfortable, but not being afraid either.
I'm really surprised by that definition. I think it's fantastic.
Why are you surprised?
Well, I think because I guess I'm not surprised. I think it's a definition we haven't heard before.
Sure.
But I think it's really important because the question becomes at some point, do we have wealth or does wealth have us?
Yeah.
And you're speaking to that question, saying you want to own wealth,
Yeah.
which I think is fantastic. And I think another thing about it, George's family is a farm family, and so they're constantly kind of saving for that next land that could come available. So I think maybe some of the experiences that you have may be leading to that definition as well, which we're all kind of captive to our own experiences with money.
Yep. I like it because we see so many times in our business, people are great savers, but they never are able to spend it.
Yeah.
So they get this massive amount of wealth, and then they come to the end of their life and they didn't do things maybe that they wanted because they were so worried about saving. And then it gets passed on, which is great, but they didn't, as another one of our interns said, they didn't live the life they wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's great.
I think it's a great definition.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thanks so much.
Yes, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
We have Lauren Ferguson with us now. Lauren is Roger Ferguson's daughter, so Roger is one of our commercial lenders. And Lauren is studying finance at Jackson with plans to go to Eastern. Very excited to have you with us, Lauren. Quickly, Lauren has helped me with several financial plans throughout this time that she's been with us. So it's great to have you in our seat today.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
Lauren, we just have been really delighted to get to know you a little bit better through the summer and work with you. So, Lauren, I know that you are at Jackson planning to go to Eastern. What's been college like for you?
College has been pretty good. I mean, when I started off my freshman year, it was really nice because I went in at the end of July, beginning of August, because I was in the soccer program there. So it was just the soccer kids that were there, so men's and women's teams. So I got to make a lot of good friends early on. So I wasn't, going in without knowing anyone,
Sure.
which was originally what was going to happen. So I'm really thankful I had that. And then going into actual school, it was really nice because I knew so many people at the beginning. So I was not ever worried about, oh no, who am I going to study for with this test? It was like, oh, would you like to study with me? And then we can bounce off some ideas for a project. It was very good. I really enjoyed my experience there both years.
It's fantastic. Well, yeah, I know you worked with a team of interns this summer, and some of them you knew, some of them you didn't know.
Yeah.
So that's been fun to get to know new people. So we'll get right to the question. What is wealth to Lauren Ferguson at the age of you're 20, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Just turned 20.
Just turned 20. Yeah.
Wealth to me is more security. Like, I want to feel secure. I want to be able to afford my necessities. I want to be able to, every so often splurge on something. Be like, okay, well, I paid for all my groceries this month. I paid for rent. I paid all my bills. I'm going to go out tonight. I'm going to go out and have a nice meal. But hopefully in the future, maybe that'll change since I will have more stability, having, as my mom calls it, a big girl job.
Yeah.
And, maybe having the funds to afford nicer things. Like, I've always said my dream is to own classic cars.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
My dream car is a 1969 Chevy Impala. And my grandpa, he has a 1974 El Camino, and he's going to give that to me.
That's
and I'm really
fantastic.
excited. Yeah.
Great.
That's fantastic. I did not know that about you.
Yeah, I love classic cars.
And I like the way that you worded the definition because you identify in the definition that it's ever changing. So at where you're at now, splurging is going out for a nice dinner. In a few years, maybe it's going out for dinner and some drinks with some friends.
Yes.
But then, as you get older, you have this aspirational dream to have some classic cars, which takes lots of money to own.
Yes.
So I love the fact that you're building flexibility into that definition because we know that what our definition was of wealth in our 20s is different than I sit here and I'm 48 today. And then it will be different when I'm 65 and 70 and 80, hopefully. So I love that you're building flexibility into that definition.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Perfect.
Thanks so much, Laura.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
All right.
All right, we have another intern. I actually am really enjoying
These are fun.
getting to speak with our interns, and then once we bring them all in, it'll be exciting. But we have Amelia Daly with us at this moment. Amelia is at the University of Michigan. She is studying business administration, getting ready to be a junior. Very exciting.
So I didn't know Amelia until this internship opportunity, and I know her dad, and I interviewed you, and I was blown away.
Thank you.
With your personality and your confidence that you bring. Just really impressed with you. I told your dad, I don't know what she's going to sell, but whatever she is, you're going to buy it, and we're all going to have one. So you have this just really great way to communicate that is confident and inspiring, and it's someone you want to be around because of the energy. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I went home after I met Amelia, and I said to Scott, my husband, telling him about the interns, and I said, oh, and Amelia Daly, and I said, she's a force. And he said, oh, like her mom. Because they went to school together, and he was like, I said, yeah,
Yes.
probably.
Yeah, so we're really, really excited to have you on the intern team this year.
I'm glad to be here.
And the work that you've been doing so far has just really blown me away. So congratulations on that as well. So we're asking all the questions the same to the interns.
Yes.
You know the question. So for you, you're 20, right?
Yes.
Amelia? A rising junior. What does wealth mean to you?
I certainly think it can mean a few different things, but I think right now, at least where I'm at, being college student, only 20, I think of it a lot as freedom, probably just because as a 20-year-old, I don't have that financial freedom right now. I really enjoy traveling with my family, with my friends, and I think wealth kind of is like the ability to do anything like that, or not even just travel, but just the freedom to make choices and do things that you want to without being concerned that you won't be able to like cover the essentials or like necessities. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know, for me personally, I'm in your camp. I use the word flexibility, so a slightly different way of viewing it, but kind of the same essential when you break it down.
Yeah.
So I really relate to that, and I think, you know, as you get older and your priorities change, but do all the traveling.
Yeah.
Say yes to every trip.
Absolutely. And I think I heard a little bit of security in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I think it kind of goes hand in hand. In my head, I think it's both. Because, like, with the freedom, it's able to know that you have security. Like, I don't know. I think of them collectively together.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Excellent.
Well, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.
So we are with Zach Smith. He is in our BSA area. So that is our security section of the bank. Zach is getting ready to transfer to Northern Michigan to study forensic toxicology. Very interesting.
So, how did you end up at the bank as for the summer?
Mainly through personal connections. I had
Okay.
a friend that did a previous financial crimes internship, and then they recommended it to me after they were moving to West Virginia to pursue like a similar thing.
Perfect. So you've been in the role for a couple months now. Is that right?
Mhm.
What has surprised you the most about?
Mainly like just the depth of the range that things are monitored. Like it's insane to me how deep everything goes, all the searches, all the like double checking, cross checking, and then again with other people too, peer review. It's intense.
Yeah, fantastic.
Very interesting.
So you graduated from Jonesville High School, is that right?
Yeah. I graduated top 10 with valedictorian.
Oh,
Wow.
fantastic! Congratulations.
You know,
Yeah, 2 valedictorians in the room, I believe. So,
I was a valedictorian.
3. Okay. Wow.
We digress.
I graduated from high school with the honorary cum laude. So we have a couple interviews to go through with our other interns, so we'll get straight to the question. So how do you define wealth?
this is a hard question. Like personal success to me is wealth, but wealth can also objectively mean a bunch of things.
Sure.
Like wealth could be stability, or wealth could be like luxury, I guess.
Absolutely. And we love the breadth of it. And it's oftentimes all of it to everyone.
Mhm.
And so I like how you said I forget exactly the words, but I think you said it's your personal success.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's what you value and what you're
Mhm.
working towards. So I think that's a terrific definition.
Love it. Wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for being here, and look forward to more conversations in just a bit with you.
Right. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. We are with Brady Kling. He is in our executive office as one of our interns. Just graduated from high school, so he will be attending Adrian College, just right next door to us. Go Bulldogs.
Yep.
Wants to be in the FBI/CIA and tell me criminal justice is what you'll be studying. Very exciting.
Yep.
So you must be our youngest intern.
I probably am. I turned 19 this November.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty young.
Yeah, a baby.
So when you were thinking about college, where are you going to live on campus?
Yeah, I have to live on campus because I'm going for basketball also.
There you are.
Yeah, so I have to be there for practices, and I live I live in Hillsdale, so I'm like a 45 minute drive from Adrian.
What position do you play?
I'm a point guard.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
At least.
Yeah. So you played, of course, in high school.
Mhm.
Did you play any travel?
I did for a few years, and then I just didn't do it because I was a 3-sport athlete in high school, so I really didn't have time to do travel ball. So, yeah.
What were your other sports?
I was a football and track.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
The thing about being a point guard is it's essentially you're running the court.
Mhm.
You're making decisions as you're bringing that ball up the floor.
Yeah.
How you're going to handle the defense. What does it look like for you? Where are your offensive players at?
Yeah.
And what you're going to do. So it's a leadership position for sure. Did you get to serve as captain at all during your high school year?
Yeah, I was pretty much captain junior and senior year on basketball, and for football, I've been on varsity since sophomore year, so I was a captain throughout the whole kind of time I was there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I'm from Southern Indiana, where basketball is, the king sport.
Mhm.
And a lot of basketball players won't play football because they're afraid they're going to get their
Mhm.
knees injured. Did you ever consider not playing football so that you could make sure that you stay healthy for basketball?
Actually, yeah, but it's kind of funny bringing injuries up because this last football year, towards the end of the season, I think there's 2 games left, I fractured my ankle.
Oh, wow.
So I was almost out for basketball season, and I don't know how I would have dealt with that if I was, but luckily it was healed up pretty quickly, and I got back on the court.
Well, I'm glad for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're asking all of our interns the question that we're asking all of our guests on our podcast. So as a 19-year-old...
Technically still 18.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I turned 19.
18-year-old, our youngest intern,
Mm-hmm.
getting ready to off to college. What does wealth look like for you?
Wealth is just, I don't know. Especially with college, you need to save for money because you need to pay off your loans. Whether you have loans or don't, you need money always. You need to keep your life and your family provided with food and shelter. So wealth is really big. I've been saving since freshman year for college. So I'm just building up my savings account and my checkings account so I can pay for college and not have to worry about debt as much when I graduate from college.
I love that idea because college is crazy, ridiculously expensive,
Exactly.
and the cost will continue to go up even in the time that you're in school. So appreciate your good stewardship and save for it because it is. And then once you're out, trying to manage that debt load is really important to get it paid off as quickly as you can.
Well, best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
At Adrian, hopefully we'll hear games that you're in and we'll make our way over and watch you play.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Welcome, Nathan. We have Nathan Ummel with us. He is one of the wealth management interns this year. I think we have 5 of them. So you're one of our 5. And Nathan attends Hillsdale College, and you are majoring in financial management. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome.
Nathan and I are kindred spirits. He was raised in the sacred heartland, at
Colorado?
the heart of basketball.
Oh, Colorado.
Yes, Bloomington, Indiana.
Bloomington, Indiana.
Hoosiers.
Hoosiers.
Eesh.
Yeah. So it's been super great to get to know you. Nathan is in our Hillsdale office, which is where I'm at primarily. So we've been able to work together a little bit closer than maybe the others and I have, but it's really been fantastic to get to know you and spend some time with you.
Thank you.
Your experience, though, Nathan, is slightly different. You're 20, right?
Yes.
And
No, I actually turned 21. I just turned 21. I forgot.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, I guess.
Yeah.
Congratulations, it happens.
Usually forgetting comes later in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not the best memory. You could ask anyone.
So Nathan is married. You've been married for about a year?
For 6 months. I got married in December.
Okay.
Gosh,
So, yeah.
Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you very much. It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
that's exciting.
Yes.
High school sweetheart, where'd you meet?
Yep. She grew up in Pittsburgh and moved to Bloomington our junior year of high school. And we started dating at the end of senior year, right as I moved up here. And we've been doing long distance dating for 2.5 years and just got married.
That's wonderful.
It was great.
That story.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So we're asking our question,
Yeah.
what is wealth? So to Nathan, 21-year-old. So you're the most senior,
Ancient.
most senior member of our intern group.
Welcome to the old age.
Married individual.
Yeah.
What is wealth?
Well, I think because of that, my answer is a little bit different. And just because I'm married, because I've got a little more experience. And I think it's really turned into peace for me. Being at peace both with myself, my family, and God. So it means not having, not constantly searching for more. It's not just constant, physical gain, having to bring more and more stuff in. It's getting to the point that I have what I need and I'm content and it's enough to provide and I can give to my church. So I think that's what it's been
fantastic.
That's a great.
Really love that definition. I like the peace. You know, when you were saying it, we've heard contentment, but that word peace has a little different ring to it because it provides a little bit more like a visceral reaction.
Yes.
You feel it more. So I really love that thoughtful and sincere answer.
Absolutely. That's a good one.
Thanks.
Thanks so much, Nathan.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
It's a pleasure.
So we have everybody together with us now, which is very exciting. And I have spoken with each and every one of you about what is wealth to you. Have had wonderful responses. I've written down the one word that I think would work appropriately with everybody. So when we do our word cloud, I think we'll do that one. But very excited. Such a smart group of young people. Very impressed with your answers and whatnot. So now we'd like to, turn it over to Christopher, but of course we're going to find out what you've been doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just want to echo what Holly said. Every one of you bring immense talent to the organization, and we're so grateful that you decided to spend your summer with us. And we hope that you've enjoyed the time at the bank so far. So I guess we'd like to hear a little bit about what the projects that you've been working on. So
I can start us off.
Yeah.
So I'm a wealth management intern with Brooke, Lauren, and George, and we're all working collectively on a project called P3. It's a new subscription-based financial planning program that we're working on launching. We each kind of have taken a separate role in it. I kind of work on the first part, Brooke works on the marketing, Lauren's on the next part, and George is then helping overall.
What's the first part?
The first part is it really pays attention to what clients are financially doing today, where their health is at. We use a program and it takes a lot of their financial information, calculates their net worth, and it provides them with a set of scores that they can use to compare themselves to their peer group. And it allows us to give recommendations on goals that they could achieve quickly just by small changes.
It's basically giving like a vitals assessment as a baseline assessment. And then, Lauren, why don't you kind of roll into the next step?
So I take all of the financial information from Amelia and then I put it into a program. So I have the more kind of serious talk with the client about where they want to go. So what age would you want to retire? What do you specifically want for your retirement? And then I take that and I run it through a Monte Carlo trial, which is just looking over 1,000 potential, scenarios. And then that gives me a score. So based on the score, it's like how many times you succeeded. So, and then I take that score and I go to the client and I'm like, so here's your score. Now, sometimes it can be lower. And then we just say, hey, your score's a little low. How about we talk about making some changes so we can make changes that will help impact the client in a positive way and then show them where they could be in 5, 10, and even till retirement. So that's what I kind of do with that.
So, Brooke, as we kind of go from the overall thing and that we're hoping to be in constant communication with our clients, you've been working a lot on the marketing and telling the story. So what's, you spoke about this when you defined wealth a little bit, but tell us a little bit more about kind of what your perception is, what you might be doing when you joined us versus now.
I want to make sure that we're getting the point across in the marketing that this is a tool to help them achieve what they want to achieve in life and really show like what you're passionate about, your goals, like we can make it happen, make you live the life that you want to live, rather than be like buy a lake house in retirement or move to Florida or whatever that may be. We want to help make those dreams come true for those clients, however big or small, and bridging that gap and making sure that they are educated on their finances and making sure that they are in control over their decisions overall. We just want to say, hey, here's something that we can do to just help you along and help set a goal for that, so you just have one less thing to worry about.
Fantastic. I think that education and control is very important.
Yeah.
Because people either don't feel like they have control or they don't have the education.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll pivot away from wealth management for just a second and talk to the others about what you guys are doing. So we talked a little bit about what Meredith is doing because she's been working on the podcast itself. So I'll let you.
Well, starting out in the summer, you guys had already filmed, I believe, 5 episodes, and Brad had started to edit those. Brad is the content manager for marketing at CMB, for those who don't know. He's the big man behind the camera. I was doing the transcript and captions for those because most everything else had been done. So that was my transition into figuring all of the logistics behind the podcast. And now we set up the set for this podcast, and there's 8 guests compared to when there's 1 or 2 guests, and there's a different set, and figuring out all those nuances, and then figuring out the white balance and the lighting and the framing of the shots, and making sure everything kind of can come together in conjunction to make a production that is something that everyone wants to see and everyone wants to know. Plus, listening to each episode probably at least like 4 times as I've been working on them has been very informative, and I've learned a lot from all of the guests. So I've enjoyed it a lot.
It's fantastic. Fantastic. So we have someone from our executive office, which is a bit of a unique position because you get access to the president and CEO. He's at where you work every day or most days. So what has that experience been like for you?
It's definitely a lot. It's honestly more than I thought coming into the bank. I was like, oh, it's just going to be like a regular job. I'll get more work done. It can be a lot some days. And Joe, our president, I love him. He always brings an energy that you don't think's out there anymore. The way our world is today. But he's always walking in, smile on his face, speed walking through the whole bank because how busy he is, talking to everybody, making friends with customers and guests, and it's always the best. But yeah, it's definitely a lot. The work can be tricky. I have a lot of questions, but it always gets done. And my coworkers and everything, if I have a question, I always go straight to them. They always help me out. So it's definitely a lot, but they always help me get through it. And it's honestly a great, I can't think of the word.
Work environment?
Yeah, great work environment, and everything's just been really amazing.
It's terrific to hear. And, Joe is the most enthusiastic, high energy person that I know.
And positive. Very.
And I think it's great for you to see that because, when you think of bankers, you don't necessarily think of a Joe personality.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And, Joe has been so instrumental in helping us build a good work culture, and I'm glad that you got to experience that. So now we have someone that I think has a really unique perspective because you're really behind the scenes and you're doing work that you can't really even talk about.
I believe I could get sent to jail for like 15 years.
Yeah.
Just for saying 4 words.
Yeah. So we don't want you to say those words.
Yeah.
Or
How good are you at charades?
Yeah.
Probably not that good.
You're in our financial crimes area, and we take that super serious at the bank.
It's intense.
So just talk a little bit about what your experience has been and what you thought it might be coming into it.
Originally, I thought it was going to be more what the customer service side is right now, like the debt fraud, credit card fraud, stuff that would be kind of minor, nothing that you would not expect. But coming into it, it's so much different. It's so much deeper. There's kiting, there's phishing, there's all sorts of these scams that people try to do. They're really cunning in it too.
Yeah. It's easy to be caught up in it.
Yeah.
And not even know. So the you guys' ability and our technology to catch some of this stuff before we even recognize that's happening to people is critical.
Yeah, like the romance scams, the elderly fraud, like it's out there.
Yeah,
and
for
it's
sure.
Really surreal.
And it happens in all of the markets that we serve. It's not just one target area. They do, as you know, prey on older individuals, but it could happen to any of us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? So I was an intern here in wealth management last year, so I knew that sometimes we get sent like intentional phishing emails to like test if we would fall for it. But what I didn't expect was the day I was moving out from college for the summer, I got a text saying that it was from Joe Williams. And it was like, I need your help. And we've gotten this email already, but I hadn't been at CNB since the winter time. And I mean, you have to put in your phone number when you're working here anyways, so they have that information. Mm-hmm. But I hadn't started working yet, and I wasn't set to start working until that next Friday. So, and I was with the McMuns because they were helping me move out. So I was like, do you think this is legit? And they're like, why would they be texting an intern? And I was like, I don't know. So then instead of responding back, we reached out to Joe's wife and we're like, hey, did Joe text Meredith? And he was like, no. So I was like, cool. That's great.
Yeah, it can happen anywhere.
Yeah,
for sure. So, George.
Yeah.
You're in the Tecumseh office. And you didn't have necessarily a specific defined role. You were kind of overseeing the whole project, helping coordinate all the activity.
Yeah, I start the whole process really. Once we determine who we want to reach out to, I'll find an email and send it out to them, and then have them onboard themselves to Amelia's part of the project. And then from there, she kind of takes over a little, and then it moves to Lauren's part. So as a whole, I kind of reach out and make sure the meetings and appointments happen when they need to, and
so a little bit of serving as that role as business development.
Yeah,
as we're trying to get some beta testers to sign up for our program. So there's been some challenges with it.
Yes, for sure.
And so we're working through those, but appreciate your leadership and your kind of can-do attitude with it.
What's the demographic for the project that you're trying to get people?
We would really love millennials and younger than millennials. So,
but not too much younger.
Not
young families.
Yeah, probably. Young. I think particularly that's interesting is the like recent college graduate would be kind of perfect. So someone who's starting their career. We think that people who are newly married, starting to have families, trying to establish themselves. Really, the program is designed for any age, any demographic. It can be used for anyone. I make the analogy that it's a little bit like a fitness coach. You can start your fitness journey at any level of health. The goal is to be, non-judgmental about it where you're entering and help them get to the goals that they want. So that's kind of what you guys are working on. You've done it great. So Nathan, you've had a bit of a unique experience from your peers in wealth management. So talk about a little bit what you've been able to do in the Hillsdale office.
Well, it's been interesting because originally I thought I was also being hired on to this whole P3 process. And so I came in expecting like, I'm going to be working on this project that's kind of just separate from the whole bank experience for the summer. But it's turned out that I've gotten to basically just like help with day-to-day operations. And for me, that's been amazing because it's like I can actually see what the wealth management job is, and I can see what you guys do on a day-to-day basis, and I can help you guys with the little projects that either fall through the cracks or you just like never have time for. So for me, it's been great. I just get to like hang out in an office where there aren't any other interns. So I feel like I'm just like right there with all the big guys. And I've loved it.
That's great. Well, we've been happy to have you. You've done a great job for us.
Thank you.
So my question is, who wants to be a banker now?
I do.
Yeah.
Well, and some of you are going to school.
Yeah,
right.
And I've been shadowing a lot. I've shadowed with treasury management. I've shadowed with commercial lending. I've shadowed with credit analysis. Like, I've shadowed a lot of different positions here, and hard to say which one specifically I like the best because I'm a fan of the well-rounded community aspect of the bank for sure. I like how a lot of our clients, they're small businesses. They're just people who want to bank with us because they just like how involved we are with everyone. And I really like that aspect, especially here. I like working, being at a bank. I like the experience. I like the environment. I think it's great, especially with Joe. He's really nice. And I've known him before working here, but working here, it's definitely more positive than I've seen him. I don't think I've ever seen him. I don't think I've ever seen anyone that positive, but it's really nice to be around that. Because a lot of times I think of bankers as being they're just
Like your dad.
No, but they just want to make their money and get out of the way. But here it's totally different. They want to help.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
So I'm going to just pressure you a little bit. So if you had to make a decision today of all the, and you spent most time in wealth management, so maybe this is not a fair question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Which do you think is the most attractive to you as you sit here today?
That is kind of a difficult question for me, to be honest.
Can't leave the room until
It's definitely a hard question to answer because I like how many different positions there are, and I've talked to a couple of different people who've worked here, and they say they've been in almost every position that they can be.
Yeah.
And I definitely strive to be that kind of person. But I think if I had to start anywhere, I would like to start with the credit analysts, because they're the foundation. They really are the foundation of the bank. And I liked being there. I liked understanding about how you start off with just some simple information, and from that you can build up, and you can just build up all that information, and then it becomes something out of it. I really liked that aspect, but of course, if I had to choose anything, I would love to just choose everything.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic because as you the credit analyst work is really important to the bank, but it moving around, and because you guys are all so young, you have all the opportunities. So I think it was a fantastic answer to a question I know that you didn't really want to answer. But
the correct answer really is wow.
Yeah.
The right answer. But it is smart, just from a idea of going to every area of the bank. You and I have always been in wealth, which is the best, but to hit every area. So then when you want to become CEO, that's the place to be. But
I do have to say that's been one of my favorite aspects of working here is that I can try everything. And I really do like that. I love learning. I love just being more knowledgeable so I can help someone else. Yeah. I like that. And now I like learning, so it's been really fun being here.
Well, I think what we do at the bank, we're not delivering babies. We're not delivering health and life and death decisions in terms of medical outcomes. But we are helping all of our clients, regardless of the role that we're in the bank, to make a more prosperous life for themselves. And that's what I think is the most exciting about the work that we do, whether you're in credit, whether you're in wealth or financial crimes, keeping us safe. These are all important roles, and it takes the entire team to make this organization work. So I think it was a great response.
yeah, absolutely.
So I do want to transition a little bit to talk about community banking, and this is something as I spend more time in community banking, and really community banking is the only thing I've known. But the role that the community banks play in our local economy and the national economy is super important. So what I guess I would like to know from your perspective, what makes community banking so attractive? We don't have the latest and greatest technology necessary for our clients, but the role that we play in the local economies are important. So what's attracted to
Go ahead.
I'll just say something quick. I think that one thing that really attracts people to community banking is the relationships that you make. Just like comparing in size, like the size of this organization is able to make connections with every client, and every client feels like that they're valued here and that their concerns are heard and that they're taken care of. And I just think that's something that is really attractive.
Absolutely. Mine is really similar. I was going to say, like, the approachability I really like. And I've worked with, like, I know my parents have stuff, like, here and then at other bigger banks as well. And they like just, like, the personal connection that is with community banks. If you have something just quick, you can go in and just talk to somebody rather than, like, get put on hold for forever. Like, it's just the people. And I think a big part of wealth management specifically is trusting who your money is with. And maybe you can, like, trust a big name, but you want to know your advisor really, like, has your best interest at heart. And I really see that through, like, sitting in with meetings with you. You always want to, like, get to the root of who the person is, what their goals are, and make steps of how we can help them achieve their goals. And if they have questions, you're always there to answer it, always willing to go on a phone call and stuff. So I really like that personal, like what you said, and just, like, the more convenience and just trust overall.
Can we get that in a commercial? That was, like, terrific. That was an endorsement.
She was in marketing. It makes me think of you're in line at the grocery store behind or in front of your client.
Yeah.
So, to both of your points, I mean, it's impactful, and you live amongst who you are serving.
For sure.
Yeah, and I've probably seen more firsthand than anyone here, but I know it happened recently. My dad and I, we were going up for vacation, and as we were going up, he was like, "Oh, I have to make a couple of phone calls. Like, so he obviously had his AirPods in for it, so I didn't overhear, but he was working with a bunch of different clients and a bunch of different people to try to help them, even though everyone knew, even the clients knew, he was off that day. He still tried to, give them the best experience they could here. And I agree with both of them that that's something that a lot of clients don't get with bigger banks. Mm-hmm. With bigger banks, it's just they go for more larger size companies. But here in Lenawee County, we don't have very many larger size companies. So a lot of the big banks aren't going to be like, "Oh, well, we want to help you start up your business. Here's a loan of like $200,000. They're not interested in that. But here we're like, "Oh, you wanna help, or you wanna start up a business, you wanna help someone, you wanna, do X, Y, and Z." We're like, "Okay, we're here to help you. We're available when you need it. If we can't help you with something, we want to help you find someone who can." Okay. And I think that's great, especially internally here too. We have people talking about, like, they can say, "I don't know how to help this customer, but here's kind of where they're looking towards, and I think you would be a great fit to help this customer." And it's just really the community aspect of our bank isn't just externally being in the community. It's also internally, because we treat each other like this is our community. We want to help each other. So I really like that aspect. And
we're out of jobs.
I was just going to piggyback off of everything that they've said, and I completely agree. The connections. I mean, I've worked here for 2 summers now, and even last summer, I noticed it almost immediately. The people that would come in even to do their just daily transactions, maybe they needed to deposit something into their account, they would always make a round through the entire bank, and they talk to, like, every single person, because it is about the relationships. And County National Bank, the associates aren't just workers who are helping you with your finances and with your funds and everything. They're like an extension of your family. And Holly mentioned it earlier, and she was saying, "I'll be at the grocery store and a client will be in front of me in line or behind me in line, and then you'll talk with them." But that's the case anywhere. I've noticed so many people from County National seem to know everybody in the community, and it seems almost impossible the amount of people that you know, and everything there is to know about their life, and you're asking them about this really niche update that wouldn't be public knowledge to, like, anyone, but somehow you heard about it through the grapevine. And having that connection and that knowledge and really feeling like you're all together and connected is something that I think community banking has way more than any other type of bank, and it makes it super special just to be like, cheers, where everybody knows your name. That's the type of relationship that people are looking for and that they get when they come here.
So we're trying to establish, and I think we know when you work with people, all some of their pain and some of their, and so being responsive to those situations that they're in, is impactful. Because we don't want to just build a relationship. We want to build trust, so that we can. That's the foundation of all the relationships that we have at CMB. Internal, external.
Yeah. But those relationships for our clients, which are so important, is also so important for us, because I think I can probably speak for the majority of associates here at CMB. The best part of our job isn't all the paper pushing. It is actually the client. It is the relationship that we got to build, to learn about, you were little and now you're off in college and you're getting married next. And we've been, whether intimately part of it or kind of in the background, we've been a part of their life for so long. And so it's an important relationship to us as well, and not just from a business perspective.
Sure. Yeah. So we heard from the front row. Let's
I can go a little. Kind of like reiterating what all four of them really have said, but I feel like here at County National, you're more than just money. You're a person, and when your associate meets you for the first time, they're not meeting just your accounts. They're meeting you, your family, all your connections that you have. And then I think it was Lauren that was saying it, was like, say they want to do something that's not in wealth management, you too will show them the way to, say, like a Chris Clark or Mark Dingy or someone. But I think that is something that you won't get at the credit or the bigger banks, because they know their thing and that's it. So here it's like you build it's kind of like a community inside of a community.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I like that you're not just an account.
Right.
I like that.
I can go next. So, like, the thing to me is that outside of the face value of the connection, personal connection, like, behind the scenes, people are really looking out for each other. There was a woman recently that was caught up in a romance scam, and then, like, the fraud department was, like, easily able to identify the issue of a person, like, taking or trying to win over this other woman, like, having her send funds through gift cards and stuff. They were able to, like, stop that before, like, a lot of loss was.
Yeah, and it's not small amounts of dollars.
No.
So it's impactful, and the approach, not only identifying it, but then you have the human aspect to it. You have the embarrassment from the victim's standpoint.
The empathy.
And that's a core value of ours, of course. And so trying to manage all that is really difficult, and I think our team at the bank does a great job with it. And I've been involved in some of those conversations, and they can be difficult to have, because no one wants to be seen as the victim, and so that's hard. So it's amazing work that the team does.
I think another core value you guys have talked about, or that at least I've heard a lot of talk about, is the taking ownership. And it's interesting that in a community bank like this, the people that you're working with and the businesses that you're lending to are people that you're gonna, like we've talked about, you're gonna run into at the grocery store. So it's like you're wanting to build good relationships with these clients for your own sake as well, because you're going to be running into them, and it gives you an extra little jolt of like, oh, I need to make this customer happy. I need to do what's best for them, because if I don't, it's just going to be, we're going to be having to avoid each other for the rest of our lives. It's so county. Right. Whereas in a big bank, it's like, if someone's frustrating you, can just hang up the phone and you're never going to see them again. Or you just keep them on hold on a teleprompter. And it's just like, so having the ownership that you're actually like, you're really taking care of a customer for their sake and for your own sake and for the bank's sake, because everyone is just in it together. And if you don't take ownership for your mistakes, then people are just never going to come back. And that's just another way that you're building trust in a small community.
Absolutely.
Which I've appreciated seeing.
Fantastic. Great.
which like pretty much everyone has talked about the community aspect. I mean, it's community banking for a reason, but our market executive at the main office, Kelly Lantis, she's been in the community for her whole life, I'm guessing. But I'll just be doing my work, and then she'll just open up her door, sneak out, and be like, hey, and then she'll just have a conversation with anybody. She knows everybody, and everyone knows her. So she's always talking and, like, inviting them in. She has meetings in her office, and she just always laughing and has a great positive attitude with everybody, and just talking to people just really invites them back in. Whether they're in a bad mood, someone could walk in on a rainy day and just be in a bad mood, and if you can just, like, boost their like morals and like make them feel good about themselves and make them invited back into the bank. It's just everyone just wants to everyone wants to feel good at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And just talking to people can make like that. And I think Kelly Lynch is a great person for that.
She's a
always
great
nice.
role model
Yeah,
for that. She is easy to communicate
Exactly.
with. People really enjoy being around her because of her positive attitude. And you know what she's doing at each of those interactions is that she's building trust. Brene Brown says that you build trust one marble at a time. And so by asking this simple question like, how are you doing? You know, tell me about your dog that was sick. Those little interactions build trust. And so Kelly does that just so naturally. It doesn't feel... it feels so sincere. It feels like a hug.
Exactly.
So, yeah, thanks for talking about Kelly. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's, I guess I would say, I don't know if we're getting ready to wrap up or not, but I think County National Bank has been enhanced by each one of you being here with us, whether it's actually teaching us something in the area that we've been in or helping some of us with our other social media problems that we've had. But certainly a breath of fresh air and very excited for what the future holds for all of you and in turn what the future holds for us as we get ready to move into any next step. So I have honestly loved the fact that we have had 5 interns here, and I wish I would have had the opportunity to get to know the rest of you just as much, but it has been, from my perspective, great.
Yeah, well, we will close soon. We had opportunity for the wealth interns to present to the executive team on Monday, our management team on Monday. And when they left, several management team members were blown away by the presentation, by the professional approach that they each took. And I was just so excited by those comments. But also, I said, if I could hire every one of them today, if I could make them sign a contract.
Oh, they did.
I would make them sign a contract.
You didn't read the fine print?
I thought you were signing confidentiality agreement.
You promised.
The County National.
So, anyways, thank you so much. Thank you for your time today. Thanks for your willingness to be on the podcast. Meredith will put it in editing, and I'm sure you'll get a copy of it and share it on LinkedIn.
That's right.
Well, thank you guys for the opportunity.
Thank you.
I'm sure I can speak for all of us that it's been a wonderful summer of experience. It's been helpful for us. It's going to be helpful to have this as a building block for the rest of our lives. So we appreciate the chance that you've given us.
Thank you so much. Well, I mean, I'm kind of lost for words, which you know me, that doesn't happen frequently. But I just, the question about community banking, I love it because they hit some of our core values.
Absolutely.
They hit what we hope to accomplish as a team and as an organization to deliver banking services where people feel that we are a family and that we're on their side and that we're moving the needle forward to whatever goals. Because, we've heard Joe say it, if we do all those things, the right thing for our clients, our shareholders will be rewarded.
Right.
And I think we've got commercials.
We do. And they've been with us 8 weeks, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
So the idea that has even come across in just 8 weeks says we're doing something right.
Right.
And then, their answers, which we'll all get to hear about later, but the one word that they all started off with, different words, blew me away as well. Just so impressive, and some of them I hadn't even thought of as the word for what is wealth. I'm very impressed with our young people.
Yeah, I think we've done well
Yeah,
with
we
this
did.
group, and again, so grateful to have them
Absolutely.
and to learn from them as well.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, sure, we were supposed to teach them something. Hopefully they learned something. But I think, honestly, I probably learned more from them and got more out or from them than perhaps they received from me. And I'm so impressed.
Yeah.
So what a great podcast.
It was great. It was great to do. So looking forward to sharing it.